Hey guys, what's up? Justin here from MPV doing a video on hydro testing today. So there comes a time in every paintballer's career where they're forced to have their tank hydroed. Now, this can be an annoyance, a hassle, a burden, but it's mandatory and needs to be done. So, what hydro testing is, for those of you who don't know, is every 5 years your tank needs to be tested for consistency and to make sure that it is safe to use and up to date with all high pressure air system regulations and all that stuff to make sure it's safe. Okay, so it starts with 5 years after your tank was manufactured, or after the first 5 years. Now you might go to your field one day or go to your pro shop to have your tank filled. And if you're someone who doesn't really know about hydro testing, they might say, "Oh, sorry, we can't fill your tank. It needs to be hydroed." And you might be like, "What's that mean?" I'm sure they'll explain it to you, but I'll explain it to you now. Your tank is kind of expired, okay? If that's a good term. Doesn't mean your tank can never be used again, but it needs to be tested before it can be used again, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your tank, all right? And there's going to be a date somewhere on the bottle. Sometimes, like on this tank, the date is printed. And if you have an aluminum tank, it'll probably be stamped or engraved somewhere around the neck. But regardless, there's going to be a date on your bottle. Now, this is what we call the born date. As you can see here, it says 707, which stands for the 7th month of the year, July 2007. So my tank was born or manufactured in July of 2007. Now, your tank needs to be hydrated every 5 years, the first time being 5 years after the manufacture date. And if you add 5 years to this, you get July 2012, okay? So this tank right here is past hydro, meaning I cannot legally have it filled. Does that mean there's anything wrong with the tank? No, it just needs to be checked and certified before it can be used again. Okay, so I'm going to explain what you do now that you have an expired tank. Okay, so your tank needs to be hydro. First thing you're going to do is go online and look up some testing facilities. The one I'm going to talk about today is Crossfire Inc. They manufacture tanks and they do testing for tanks as well. So, assuming you're going to ship out your tank, which is what you're, more than likely going to have to do, unless you live really close by to a facility that does testing or whatever. But regardless, for most of you, you're going to have to ship it out, okay? Before you ship it out, there are going to be some main things you're going to have to do. First of all, make sure there's no air pressure in your tank whatsoever, okay? You can tell the air pressure by the gauge, but that's not always the most accurate way, okay? That is, of course, a very accurate way, but some people have faulty gauges and whatnot. So what you're going to do is obviously read that first, and then right after, try and push down the nipple on the output of your tank, okay? If you can push that down with ease, you're all set. There's no pressure in your tank. If there was like a good amount of pressure, you wouldn't be able to push that down easily. And if you were able to push it down, you would hear and feel air escaping, which I don't, so I'm all set. The pressure on the outside of the bottle and the pressure on the inside is completely neutral. There's no high pressure in here. Okay? First thing you want to do, because you are going to be mailing your tank out, remember, and you don't want pressure when it's going through the mail. It's not a good scenario in today's world, It's just not a good idea to ship something that has pressure in it. Regardless if it travels by ground or air. Anyway, next thing you want to do is make sure your tank cover, if you have one, is stays at home. You don't want to include that when it's being shipped, okay? So they obviously don't need it, and they don't want you to, because when you ship it, the last thing you want to do is have to take off your tank cover and your accessories and whatnot. So keep all your tank covers and accessories at home, okay? Also, like I said, accessories. If you're someone who has a fill nipple cover like this one, just take it off, leave it at home. You don't need it. If you're someone who has a thread cover, take it off, leave it at home. They don't need it, okay? Also, they don't want stickers on your tank either. If you're someone who puts stickers and covers up stuff, you don't want to include those, okay? So please, they request that you take them off before you send it in. And also, you never want to put stickers over any of this information. It's very important to an airosmith at your local field or pro shop, as well as the people at the testing facility. Okay? So after you've done that, your tank is completely stripped of all accessories, covers, stickers, what have you. You're pretty much good to go. And you make sure there's no pressure in your tank. No, you do not need to remove the regulator yourself. If you're someone like me who just doesn't like dealing with that stuff and feels like if they take it apart they won't get it back together the same way it came, then don't do it. Now, if you're someone who's technically inclined and feels they want to remove the regulator themselves first, then I don't know, do it. Point being that they're probably going to take the regulator off, look at it, make sure it's good, screw it back on. They'll do that entire process for you. I personally would not, even bother taking it off. The main thing you can do is just make sure there's no pressure in the bottle at all. Okay? And after you've done that, you've pretty much done all the steps in preparation for sending your tank out, okay? But there's one more step. Now, I have a piece of paper here, okay? And I'll include a link in the description, but if you go on their website, you can print out a hydro testing submission form, okay? As you can see here, by Crossfire Inc. Now, the cost of the test is $30. But if you have this form, it has a $5 coupon, so you only pay $25. So the Crossfire DOT certification hydro, they do all this kind of stuff. So you pretty much just include this when you're shipping your tank out. Your obviously name, address, city, state, email, phone number, blah blah blah, and it's pretty much fill it out. And there's a $5 coupon there that you can save $5, and that is the address you want to ship this to. Okay, there it is. I'll wait and look at it for a second. I'll also have it in the video description, but. As assuming you're going to use Crossfire as your test facility, that's the address. Okay? I'll include the link to Crossfire's website as well, so you can back that up. Once you've done that, it's all on the testing facility, and if all goes well, you should receive your tank back in about a 2-week turnaround. Regardless if your tank passes or not, you will receive your tank back. And if it doesn't pass, it won't be certified, and they'll tell you what's wrong with it. Hope it helped you guys, rather. And I'll continue the video when I ship out my tank and I receive it back. Okay, so I just got my tank back in the mail from Crossfire today. And I'm going to go ahead and open it. So, I just cut the tape to save time. Haven't really opened it yet. Let's see. Alright, so obviously we got my tank, and it apparently passed with no issues whatsoever. So my old born-on date was July 7th. I'm sorry, not July 7th. July of 2007. So it was out of hydro until it got hydroed last week, and now it says it was tested in February of 2013. And won't need to be tested again until February of 2018. Or anything else, really? I wouldn't expect there to be, but nope, that's not really that interesting, but that's what you should get on your tank, a new sticker they attach that has a new date on it. If you guys have any questions about the process of hydro testing, go ahead and leave a comment or message us. Also, if you're an owner of a steely tank or the aluminum tanks, meaning not carbon fiber, the cheaper aluminum ones, a lot of the times it's not worth having it hydro tested, okay? So if you have a tank that you paid $40 or less for, I probably wouldn't get it hydroed, okay, if I were you, because for the amount it costs to ship it out, to have it tested, and then to have it shipped back, you could easily buy a brand new tank.